All right, so I just went out and got some 4x4s, non-pressure treated. Let's get these out of the truck. I also went and cashed in some water bottles. Got 43 bucks from the graduation party. Pretty good. All right, so I got these 4 stained up. Now we're gonna just take a break. We're gonna let this stuff dry, and we'll start taking measurements on the platform there. So we'll start getting ready for the walls around the outside. I still got to figure out what I'm gonna do, and this is why I put the grill up there. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna go around the grease trap so I can still change that pretty easily without having to pull the grill out to do it. Alright, howdy folks, good morning. Just got back from the cousin's house with some fresh milled lumber for this project. So we need to get this out of the truck and stacked. So if you're hauling wood like this, all you need to do is go from one side, wrap around once, and then to the other side. And once you ratchet that down, that wood is not moving. That's good enough. And you know, you be careful coming home. Anytime you have a load, like I drove on the highway, but if you were to, let's just say you hit the back of another vehicle at a high rate of speed, your load is going to want to shift forward. Granted, the front of the pickup bed is going to hold it, but you got to be really careful. Anytime you're towing a trailer with a load, or have a load strapped to the top of your truck or whatever, you want to make sure you secure that. So we're just going to take these out and get them under the awning for now, and then when I get a chance, I'll stain them. This is beautiful stuff right here. Beautiful stuff. Thanks to Cousin Al. So these are 7-footers, but I should still be able to cut them in half and still use both halves. Throw my gloves on here. This is nice wood though. Perfect for my projects, and they look so good when they're stained. So this is the same wood that I used on the exterior of those walls right there. So at some point I need to go over to his house and help him mill some more of this wood. It's the right thing to do. He won't take no money, so we help out in labor. So I'm putting them under here so they're not in the sun, and I'm flat stacking. I'm not using slats, because if all goes well, hopefully I could start the staining in the next day or two. So as long as these are the last 2, so as long as they're out of the sun, direct sun, they shouldn't twist or warp. Whoops. Okay. think he gave me 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 he gave me. So I really appreciate that, Cousin Al. So, but we'll get over there and we'll help him out. We'll mill a bunch for him and store them over there. So now that our kitchen's done and some of these other projects I'm getting caught up on, I'll have more time to get over there and help him out. Alright, howdy folks, good morning. I got wall number 1 up. Alright, so all you carpenters out there are probably gonna say something, but the reason I framed the inside the way I did is because it's support and nailers at the same time. So when I go to put the barn boards up, it'll go perfectly. To save wood, I could have split some of these, you know, halfway and shortened them up a bit, but for this wall I wanted it to be the sturdiest. So what I did was I left enough space on either side for the 4x4, and now I'm going to build this end wall here, and then I'll build the other end wall. Once those are built, then we'll get out the 4 posts and we'll start to construct those. So now I'm still debating about what I'm going to do here, and I may make a quick change, I'm not sure yet, because I want to be able to get at this grease trap. So I still wanted to put the rib in the center here, but I think I'm going to offset the grill behind here, and I'm going to actually make either a little door, or I'm going to make it so I can just reach it from the other side. So I'll decide that in a little bit. But I didn't want to, I mean, I want to offset the grill to one side, so that'll give me more space on the other side for like a platform table and to access the propane tank, because all I need to access on this side is the trash bag. No big deal. So that's my thoughts and reasoning for that. Originally I was going to kind of just center it, but I like the idea of having a small table on one side, this here, and then a little bit larger area on the other side. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go this way with it. Alright, so I got wall number 2 up, and I'm going to hold off on doing the center rib because I might build a shelf there and do a little configuration. So any other structure in there is really just going to be for support for the outer boards, which the outer boards, just like that wall right over there, they're gonna be sunk into this 2x4 and up against the inner 2x4, which is now like a 1 by 1.5 or 1.5 by 1.5. So it's going to be the barn wood just inside here. So I'm going to try and eliminate an outer center seam like I did not do on that one. I have a center post, but that structure is a lot bigger than this one's going to be. So I'm going to do this one slightly different. So we're going to make one more wall, and then we're going to take a coffee break. Alright, so we got 2 posts in. These are only 72 inches. We're starting on the front ones. Those are going to be 84 inches. So when we're done, this whole roof is going to be just about 5 or 6 inches lower than that corner over there, that roof. And that's only because the angle of the patio. So it's not a big deal. In general, if you were to put these side by side, this one's being constructed exactly 1 inch shorter than that other one, and I have reasons for that. Alright, so my neighbor's pressure washing over there, but we got our 4 posts up. So we're gonna have to pre-build our roof, all the joists and everything, but it's gonna be set right up against the gazebo here, and then we will if we ever move this, we're gonna leave enough of the overhang so that we would be able to pull the screws out and then recenter the roof if we ever move it. So the goal here is to make it as waterproof as possible between this gazebo and this. I don't want no dripping coming down here. So we had a pretty heavy rain last night, but I wanted to get an early start on this because I got somebody coming over to buy some garlic in a little while. So what I did was, as you saw with the tractor, I was able to lift this up and ease it up into position, which was great because I was pretty much at the limit of how high I can lift something. And what I did was I put these temporary boards on here to capture the tops of the posts. So if I was smarter, I would have done long ones all the way along, which would have been a little bit safer. But I got it up into position, so the roofing is going to be able to butt right up against the pergola here, and then I'll put a little bit of a flash or something so the water can't drip down in between, but there's not going to be much there anyway. So now I'm going to secure the sides, and then I'll remove those pieces, and then I'll be able to start with the roofing. So one of the reasons that I made the overhang this long is because if we ever move and take this off of here or out of here, I'll be able to readjust this roof by sliding it forward like 6 or 8 inches and centering it. So we have a complete cover over our new grill here, which is great. All right, just to give you a little look-see from the inside. All right, so basically this is 83 inches by 102 inches. So I made it just wide enough so we're going to be able to move and manipulate this grill around here a little bit and finalize the exact position it's going to be. I haven't decided it just yet, but by the time we go to do the exterior boards, we'll know exactly what we want to do here. So, but this is nice. And I'll remove this privacy cloth and maybe drape it on the outside of this a little bit. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I'll need it or not. All right, so this is how I deal with these types of roofing. All I do is measure. I'll measure, put my line, and then show you. All right, you can see I drew my line. I got this old pair of shears. This is sheet metal shears. I use these things for so much. This is one of my favorite tools. And I find that this is the easiest way to cut this roofing. It works so well. And all I do is draw the line on the highest pieces, and I use the micrometer on the rest. You could use a straight razor, but I find that's just a pain. And you also risk slipping and getting yourself.
My dad went to college, they met each other, got married, moved back to Florida, and then moved back to Utah. If you do retakes, might be fun to show a few of them together for a laugh. Do you do retakes?
I'm terrible at retakes.
He does them occasionally, but not often.
I'm a one-hit wonder. It's got to be the first time.
All right, so I gotta get this one up a little bit further, but that's basically the gist. So now I was able to go up in between these rafters and screw down everywhere I needed to. This last one I have to do from the outside. But we'll get that secured and the roof will be done. Let me show you the mistake I made. Alright, so one thing I normally do is I lay out all the pieces on here before I start cutting, and then I center it best I can, which I did not do today. I just started on this end with that overhang, and then you see when I get to this end that no matter what I do, I'm gonna end up with a little excessive overhang here, because if I go one more notch over, it'll be too far into the 2x4 there. So I'm gonna let that go, and you know, shame on me for, because I could have eased this over, you know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch and made it repeatable on both sides. The other thing I could have done is flipped all these over and did it that way, and probably it probably would have ended up being about the same anyway, but I'm gonna live with it. If I need to, I'll trim around this corner here so the dog leash don't get caught on it, but we'll see how that goes. But so far I like it. All right folks, I just got the last panel on, so this is hanging off a little bit farther than I really want. I'll decide if I'm going to trim that off or not. We'll see how the dog runner interferes, but this more than likely will stay underneath here, hopefully. But it looks good so far. So this is where I'm gonna leave this video finished for today, and we'll see you next time. So in the next one, we're going to be cutting all the sawmill boards in half and then staining them and getting ready to do the walls and build in the structure in here and everything. We'll figure that out as we go, but so far so good. I like it.